Thank you very much. We're going to move to Mr. Lloyd. You have 3 minutes.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Minister Bains and Mr. Nubley, for coming in. And just want to state for the record that we have your agreement that you will be tabling the information on how much of the funding from the $5.5 billion will be going towards Alberta companies and how many direct jobs that would create. Now, going into my question, Minister Bains, you're in charge of the proposed takeover of AECON by Chinese state-owned China Communications and Construction Company, which, in my opinion, represents a threat to the viability of small and medium-sized enterprises. For example, they recently bid on a Samson Cree water plant and left about $1 million in the table underbidding Canadian companies. And this poses a real threat to the construction centre. Have you, as a minister, undertaken to assess the impact of AECON's takeover by Chinese state-owned enterprise on small and medium-sized enterprises in Canada?
So as you know, I'm the minister responsible for the Investment Canada Act. Under that, I have a responsibility to look and do a thorough net economic benefit analysis, and the issues you raised, for example, would be under my preview, and those are the things we would analyze. There's two dimensions to this. There's the economic benefit and the test and the analysis that needs to be done. And as you know, all such transactions are subject to a national security review. This is a multi-step process that exists. And I work very closely with Minister Goodale and our security intelligence agencies.
On the economic impact aspect, what did you find? What were the results of that impact?
So as you know, right now we're still going through the process of doing our due diligence. It is a rigorous and robust process. We haven't made any final determination at this moment.
We've known this for months that this takeover is happening, but do you have any idea what the
Well, I have
impact
lots
will
of
be?
ideas and I have lots of information, but I'm not at this moment in a position to share it until we don't complete our due diligence. So I don't want to speculate on anything until we make a final determination, but I can assure you now Canada's national economic interest will always guide our decision making, always has in the past, and will continue to do so going forward.
So former CSIS Director Ward Elcock has stated recently that the proposed takeover of AECON is a threat to our national security. And furthermore, this takeover would limit opportunities to cooperate with our largest trading partner, the United States. We've seen that with the Gordie Howe Bridge project that's coming up. Do you believe that this takeover is in Canada's best interests?
We're going through that analysis right now. I respect experts and their opinions, but I have a great deal of confidence in the current experts we have, the current head of CSIS, the current head of the RCMP, and other security agencies, and I value their advice and feedback. I've always listened to their advice and feedback, and I've followed their advice. As I've stated in the House of Commons, and I'll state here unequivocally, we never have and never will compromise on national security, and we'll make sure we do our proper due diligence before we render any decision and go public with it.
Well, in terms of, it's an interesting statement, Minister, because we have the recent case of the Norstat satellite company, which was sold without a national security review. So how can you say that we take national security seriously when a satellite company wasn't even subject to a national security review?
No,
Very quickly, please.
Every review is subject to a national security multi-step process. That process is always followed. And as I said, I've always followed the advice of our national security officials.
Thank you very much.